music. Shutterstock Music.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of the Black College Experience HBCU Sports Podcast. I am one half of your Black College Experience team, Derek Thomas in Baton Rouge, and we have on in Atlanta, Georgia, the founder and CEO of Black College Experience, the one and only Keisha J. Kelly.
Thank you for getting me, Jay. Thank you so kindly. Thank you, everybody, for joining us for another week of Black College Experience. Man, it's been crazy because we took 2 weeks off.
Yeah, we did.
And in the 2-week time frame, a lot of stuff has happened. A lot of things have popped off. I finished school, thank God. Praise God, I'm done with school. It's over. It is done. It is written. It's over with. So a lot has happened in the 2-week time frame. Hopefully everybody enjoyed their Father's Day. Hopefully you enjoyed your Father's Day. Just a lot of stuff has gone on, and, you know, we got a lot of things that we want to talk about, pop into some general news. I know we got some people saying they were calling in tonight, some stuff we're going to talk about. But we're going to hop straight into this. Stephen A. Smith. Stephen A. Smith is going to serve as the HBCU ambassador during Wilmington's HBCU week. Derek, what do you think about that?
Well, I mean, when you have to look at who Stephen A. is. And then two, you know, I got on Black College Experience with you. I did not know he was an HBCU graduate. I just thought he was the typical, you know, opinionated journalist. But he comes from a background similar to mine, an HBCU graduate. And he is one of the most recognized faces in the sports journalism industry. So for him to, you know, come back to his roots and be an ambassador and promote HBCU universities, athletics, academics, just HBCUs in general. I mean, I think that's an awesome opportunity for him and HBCUs, and definitely for Wilmington, you know, to promote HBCUs in the area. I just think it's amazing. I mean, kudos to Stephen A. He catches a lot of flack from you know, his opinions, but hey, he's doing it big. He's coming back, you know.
And so what it is, to kind of explain it, the city of Wilmington, they have announced that, of course, Stephen A. will be the ambassador for the Historically Black Colleges and Universities Week in September. And, of course, for people that don't know, of course, Stephen A. is a commentator on ESPN's First Take. Now, again, for people that did not know, and a lot of people did not know, that Stephen A. Smith did graduate from Winston-Salem State University, which, of course, is our friend Stephen Gaither's alma mater as well. And, of course, he was recently awarded Social Impact Award. Now, the funny thing is the city's HBCU week has also included a panel discussion, and, of course, they'll have a college fair, which, of course, can qualify students to be accepted at HBCUs on the spot. It's over the 2 years of the city's HBCU college fair. They have more than 1,000 students that have been admitted to these HBCUs. So, and then, of course, First Take will also broadcast live from the 76ers Fieldhouse in Wilmington on September 20th. So here's the great thing about that. And I don't think a lot of people read this. They didn't read this in detail because I had people coming on a Slack. Like I don't think sometimes they don't separate Keisha from Black College Experience. They don't realize that they're talking to me. And so the thing is like, well, why couldn't they promote the academics? And I said, well, how do you know they're not going to promote the academics? I don't think they even read this because this is what he's promoting. He's promoting the academic side as well. And if you can be accepted into HBCU on the spot, unless you know if they have a panel there, that they have this actual process where you can actually go through the process and be accepted on the spot. And they've admitted over 1,000 students in the 2-year time frame. So that tells you that he's not just there promoting sports. They might have the actual actual filming of the First Take because that's what he does. But he's also there being an ambassador and promoting HBCUs as a whole. So I think it's a great thing. And I was trying to get her to understand. I was like, before we just assume and we criticize, let's see what the platform is.
Well, even if he's not promoting academics, he's promoting HBCUs, and we should be happy about that. You know, even if it's sports themed, here's what has to happen before an athlete can play the sport of football. He has to have his academics in order. So it goes hand in hand, you know, but this initiative is for academics and also sports and just HBCUs in general in the Wilmington area. I mean, there should not be anything negative anyone should have to say about this initiative because it's promoting HBCU institutions, and that's what we're about. You know, promoting HBCU sports, academics, anything that has to do with HBCUs. I don't see anything wrong. I'm astounded. I'm thankful. You know.
Absolutely, I totally agree. And I think a lot of times, I think, and that's one of the things, reading is fundamental. We don't read a lot of times, and we just see a headline. That's one of the things in media that I have learned over the course of time. Of course, you get a catchy title, and that's what people look at. The title, the tagline is what gets people, and people don't realize when they don't read it. So that's what they automatically jump into. But I think it's going to be a really great thing that he's doing this. And so let's go into this whole Chris Paul and Winston-Salem team. Winston-Salem seems to be doing a lot of stuff. We might need to borrow a book from Winston-Salem because they seem to be getting it done down there. We might need to hop on down to the Winston-Salem, to the CIAA, because they're getting it done. They're getting it done down there. And it just seems that, and the funny thing is that I kind of watched Chris Paul, and I watched him and his family. It was a really laid-back family, really pretty life, and it's just like, everybody out of the family, like a lot of his family members come out of HBCU. So he has an HBCU background. He just didn't. So let's go ahead. Let's go ahead and talk about this whole Chris Paul teaming up with Winston-Salem for this epic open run.
Well, first off, I'm waiting on him to wear some Valley gear. I mean, he's been wearing everybody else but my Delta Devils. So I'm ready for you, Mr. Paul. If you
he ain't got to them Delta Devils. He got to the Delta Devils yet, huh?
You know, I need him to go ahead and rock that Delta Devils gear because he has been representing HBCUs hard, not just with his fashion apparel, but also with his wallet. Chris Paul has been adamant about giving back to HBCUs. And just to talk about this, Winston-Salem State will present the Epic Open Run and Go Hoop Day taking place in the Donald J. Reed Student Activity Center. It happened actually today. And it's free and open to the public. And what this is, Chris Paul has a Go Hoop Day. He's a founder of Go Hoop Day, which just promotes basketball. And they have them all around. So for him to have this event at Winston-Salem State, I think it's awesome for the first time. And, I mean, you can see that Chris Paul has a connection to HBCUs. And it looks like Winston-Salem State is the benefactor, as well as other HBCUs as well, due to his generosity. So I just think it's an awesome opportunity for young men and women to just go out and participate, meet Chris Paul, get a chance to showcase their skills. Who knows? Somebody on this court could possibly be the HBCU star of tomorrow, Kels.
Absolutely. And the thing is that this actually took place. It took place today. So I'm just looking forward to see what the feedback is going to be and what it's going to be like. And, of course, we don't realize that all it takes is just one step. And that one person opens up the door for the next person. So all we got to see is the one person do one thing. And that opens up the doors and platforms for other HBCUs, which is why I reach back and we say, okay, you look at the Stephen A. Smith. You look at the Michael Strahans. You look at the Chris Pauls, you look at the people that have come back and they're fostering, they're going back into, and they're reaching back into these HBCUs and into these programs, into athletics, into the institutions. We see that they're like, okay, this is where I came from, this is what I do. And it's always a great thing when they give back or they go back to their schools and either they're speaking or they're giving back or whatever it is they're doing during homecoming or whatever. It's the platform that they use. They're using their platform to spread awareness and also teach other people about our institutions, because a lot of people don't know. I mean, it's funny, listening to you say, I didn't know that he went to a HBCU. It's funny because, a lot of people don't know that he went to Winston-Salem.
Right.
It's a lot of people that don't even know that Shannon Sharp went to Savannah State. Somebody
Right.
asked me that the other day. They was like, "Oh, he went to Savannah State." Yeah, he went to Savannah State. A lot of people don't even know that. Here we are with a Hall of Famer,
Strahan as
and
well.
people don't even know what
People
school
don't
he
know
went
that
to.
Strahan went to an HBCU.
Absolutely. And so that's when the crazy thing is, because you can go back and you can find pictures of Shannon in his Savannah State stuff. You can find pictures of Stephen A. in Winston-Salem, as well as Michael Strahan in his Texas Southern. So it is. I think it's just a rally back to give back and to see it just starts with one person. All right, so where you want to move to next?
Well, let's jump to the NBA draft. Um, Unfortunately, Shaw University guard Amir Hinton was not drafted, but he was signed by the Knicks. So unfortunately, we got shut out of the NBA draft. But we're going to have some free agent deals, and hopefully, some of the young men will be able to make it to the NBA, either go overseas and play. But Amir Hinton, he had a chance at being drafted. He was invited to work out for a lot of teams. The man can score the basketball. And in today's NBA, scoring the basketball is key. So if he can score the basketball in the NBA or during the summer league with the Knicks, and we all know the Knicks, poor Spike Lee. If he's going to make a team, the Knicks is a good team for him to make, because I was watching the draft, Kels, and they were saying what the teams needed, and they had everything for the Knicks. So I know the Knicks are down, but hey, this could be Amir Hinton's rare opportunity to get in the NBA for a team that doesn't really have any bona fide superstars. You know what I mean?
Correct. So, I mean, you look at Amir Hinton, and I don't know if you had a chance or opportunity to watch him play, but he's a 6'5" guard. He was only at Shaw for 1 year. So you're talking about a kid that's averaging 29.9, basically 30 points per game. He was the Division II scorer. So out of all the Division II, he's running it, 29.9. Again, 30 points per game. And I've watched him play over the course of the seasons, and this past season more so. But that was one of the things. It was like, okay, this kid is definitely going to come out. And, the NBA draft is a little bit different for me versus the NFL draft. But luckily, happily, that he did get picked up as an undrafted free agent. And I really think that he will turn around and make the squad. I really think it's going to work out for him.
Exactly. I mean, no, I hadn't had a chance to really see much of his games, but I saw film. I also watched the NBA draft camps, and I got a chance to see some of his workouts. And, I mean, he was dominating. I mean, he was able to showcase his abilities and parlay those opportunities in the private workouts. And the Knicks seem to be really, attracted to HBCU stars, with T-Walk, being a part of the organization for a while, and now they've signed Hinton. So hopefully, the Knicks will. We know the Knicks also has a history with HBCU players as well. So who knows? Maybe
Right.
Amir Hinton will make this Knicks roster and perhaps
Correct.
become the Knicks leading scorer. But like I said
Correct.
earlier,
And that.
go ahead.
Go ahead.
But like I said earlier,
I think. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, but even though we got shut out of drafting, we have
Right.
Hinton, and then we have two picks who are related to HBCU stars. But before we go there, go ahead and say because I don't want to change topics while you have something to say about Hinton.
No, I was just going to say, we go back to talk about Tyrus Walker, and if he hadn't got hurt, we don't know where he would have been. And it's so great because, of course, he's coming straight out of Morehouse College. So we don't know where he would have been. The only thing is that, of course, I think 2012, 2013, I want to say 2012, that might have been when Cal O'Quinn came out, of course, for the Indiana Pacers. So that was like the last time we actually had somebody drafted. But, I mean, of course, we can change that at any given moment and get back to where we can actually be drafted. But that was just it.
Right. I mean, I would love to see that because we've had some HBCU prospects. We had two declare, and then they decide to transfer and go to, I guess you can say bigger schools, I guess, to see how they can fare there. But I think they should have went back to the HBCUs and stuck it out. But that's their opportunity. That's the decision they chose to make. But like I said, we do have two players who were drafted, and even though they were not HBCU players, their families have roots in the NBA in the HBCUs. And I'm talking about the first two picks in the NBA draft, Kels, and that is Zion Williamson and Ja Morant, both from South Carolina. And I thought about this when I saw this, when I found this tidbit out, because there were some rumblings about Zion going back to college because he didn't want to play for the Pelicans, and people were wondering, well, should he go to an HBCU, and would he still be the number one pick if he went to an HBCU? And then to find out that both his parents went to HBCUs, and Williamson's parents both went to Livingstone College in the late 90s. His father, Lateef, played football while his mother, Sharonda, ran track. Zion was born in Salisbury, where Livingstone is located. So what could have happened if he decided to follow in his parents' footsteps and attend an HBCU? Would he have still been the number one draft pick? I mean, the man dominated the ACC this year as an 18-year-old freshman. I mean, he possibly would have done the same had he played in the SWAC. But would he have gotten the same exposure? I mean, what do you think?
Well, let me pause there on that thing first and foremost about him. Gotta stop and say, it was an awesome team with him. Being drafted, but I gotta give it up for the sister. Gotta give it up for the sister that got him there. Lisa J. Medalist is the one that he signed under.
That's his agent.
So that's the agent, the sister. You got a sister. They got the number one draft pick. That's major. A number one draft pick. A sister is your agent. That's major. So I think it's a great thing. And the thing is what people don't realize, no matter what we do, no matter how we move, no matter how we shift, and we want to shift and we want to go in different directions. We want to talk about PWIs and how much they mold us and how they have better facilities and different things. We still get back to the common ground of the HBCU. We're still back there. You're still connected to the HBCU in some way, shape, form, or fashion. Your parents went there. Your grandparents went there. Your cousins went there. You got to go over here and do something. They're always connected back into those programs. Coaches come from HBCUs and go into these other programs, so you're still connected to a HBCU in some way, fashion, some way, shape, form, or fashion. And I think, we're not going to get them all at our HBCUs, but to have a Zion at a Texas Southern, or have a Zion at a Alabama State or Southern, just a Mississippi Valley.
Yeah.
It's crazy. It's crazy. I just can't even imagine that type of thing. But I think, we do. We have players in every shape, form, or fashion: baseball, basketball, football. They're hidden gems. They're hidden gems, and they just have to be found. But on that note, let's take a commercial break, and we'll come back to this.
All right, we'll be right back in 31 seconds with more Black College Experience.
I already knew that I was going to go to college, from a young age. I definitely want to major in political science. After that, I'm going to get my law degree. Then I'm going to come back to Detroit, boost the economy, become the mayor or something, try to make the situation better for other people. I feel like I owe it to the city. I'm determined. It's going to happen. My name is Justin, and I am your dividend.
All right, we're back on Black College Experience, and we're talking about the two first-round draft picks, the top 1 and 2 picks of the NBA draft, having roots at HBCU institutions. And we were just talking about Zion Williamson. And the second overall pick, Ja Morant, father went to, he went to Claflin. But he also played high school basketball with Ray Allen. That's Jamie Morant, before starting a pro career overseas. And if you look at the workouts that he put his son through, it looks like something out of an HBCU football field because, they made things up. We created exercises to strengthen ourselves. So I think it's awesome to have both of these draft picks associated with HBCUs, even though they didn't go to HBCUs. But like I said, the question, would these two players have been, given the opportunity to showcase their skills in the NBA had they chosen HBCUs? I think if you can play the sport of basketball and dominate, you should be given an opportunity to showcase your skills at the highest level as a professional athlete, especially when you play against the bigger team with the more talented individuals and you dominate them. That's what the offensive tackle from Alabama State did, and he was a first-round draft pick in the NFL this past year. So it's proven that HBCU athletes can excel in pro sports. We've excelled in the past, we're excelling in the present, and we can excel in the future. So why can't our SWAC Player of the Year, why don't they deserve to get a chance to get drafted? Why don't they deserve to get a chance to showcase their skills in the NBA simply because they went to an HBCU? And the thing is, we'll never know if Zion and Ja Morant would have gotten drafted out of an HBCU. That's kind of a hypothetical question because they're in the NBA now, but what about that next 4 or 5 star recruit that decides to go to an HBCU, or they get frustrated with the process of how colleges are vying for their services, and like what these young kids are doing now, they're going overseas for a year and then going to the NBA. Well, what I would like to see is a one and done from an HBCU possibly. And so all we need is one of these highly talented athletes to come play at an HBCU and showcase their abilities, embrace the black college experience skills, and then make the jump if he so chooses to, or if his hype follows him, which for a player like Zion Williamson, I think it would have.
Where we are in this conversation is where we can't go down the road, because the excuse we used to use was, oh, they have better facilities. We can't use that excuse no more,
I agree.
Because we're seeing that these guys are getting drafted. And of course, we're by no means, no shape, form, or fashion. We're not a Alabama. We're not a LSU. We're not a Auburn. We're not a Ohio State, a Texas A&M. But we still have proven when you get your Alabama State, your North Carolina A&T, when you get these guys drafted out of your Grambling, they're still able to get drafted, whether it's free agents or drafted straight out. They're still able to get on and play with these teams. And at that time, you're not looking at facilities. It don't matter what you came from then. At that point, you're on. So, we can't really use that. And people tend to use that as an excuse. Oh, they have better facilities. It's lack of knowledge, lack of research, lack of intelligence when that's your go-to. That's your only go-to. That's your only go-to. And I had this conversation with a guy earlier, and he says, well, it's rare that they get drafted. You're going to have to work extra hard. Well, to go to the NFL, NBA, wherever you go play a pro sport, you got to work hard. I don't care what school you came from.
Exactly.
And I told him, I said, I think it's fair that you should research stuff before you post stuff, before you say stuff. It's 4 guys that got drafted, and you're talking about it's rare. Rare just turned into happening. So it was rare next to impossible, but it just happened 4 times in one draft. So it's not like it's not happening. It's not like we're getting 80 people, but you had 4. Last year you had less. So it's happening at a slower pace. But to say that it's not happening and to say that they have to work harder it was beside me, more like beneath me. But that's another conversation.
Actually, the next topic up was, and it's kind of in the same line is, should elite high school prospects, football prospects, start considering HBCUs? Because over this past year, the first year of the NCAA transfer portal has seen a number of high-profile, highly rated recruits choose to leave Power 5 and Group of 5 schools. Some went to other Power 5 and Group of 5 schools, but some chose to come to HBCUs to restart their football careers. You spend a year on the bench where you possibly could have spent a year playing and honing your skill. and showcasing your ability and becoming a stronger person. And I'm going to use Coach O's mantra, chop wood, carry water. We know if you chopping wood and carrying buckets of water, you're gonna become stronger. You know,
Right.
I don't have to say which Coach O that is because we know which Coach O says chop wood, carry water. So if you chopping wood with an axe and you carrying buckets of water over and over again, you're going to get stronger mentally and physically. So to talk about this in depth, I like to see these athletes coming to HBCUs to restart their football careers. You play a little as a true freshman, but guess what? You redshirted, and you still have 4 years of eligibility to play football at an HBCU. Now, I don't know if they're going to stay 4 years, but imagine if some of these highly talented athletes stayed at HBCUs 3 to 4 years, probably put an assault on the record books. You know, look at Jalen Jones transferring to Jackson State. He's going to have 4 years to potentially attack the record books of Jackson State and the SWAC. He's a highly talented quarterback.
Correct.
You know, out of, I think he was out of Maryland, I think. So have him for 4 years. The young man who transferred to Grambling and Southern from LSU, going to have them for potentially 4 years. 3 and 4 star recruits, you know, and we've been getting the top tier 3-star recruits choosing us over Power 5 schools and a group of 5 schools. I want to see more of that. I want to see them come to the SWAC. I want to see them come to the MEAC. I want to see them go to the SEAC and the CIAA, and our independent HBCUs, they need talent as well, because if you have these young men who are 3 and 4 and 5-star recruits, recruiters, cameras are going to follow them. Oh, they chose this school where they're probably thinking they're going to fail. They're probably thinking, they're not going to get any exposure. But when you get athletes like that to come to your institutions, exposure will come. You know, those young men who transferred from LSU to Southern and Grambling, they have a microscope on them. People are going to be watching to see how they do. And until that's going to bring more athletes and more exposure to the SWAC and to Southern and Grambling, to Jackson State, to Prairie View. They've been picking up transfers as well. Alabama State, Alabama A&M. DeAndre Francois, the quarterback from Florida State, was supposed to go to FAU. He's transferring, I think, to Alabama State. And we know what he did on the football field. You know, he was close to winning a national championship, I think, at one time. But now he's going to be quarterbacking at an HBCU. So when you have top-tier athletes like this who have excelled at football all of their lives in high school and in a couple years in the FBS division, saying, hey, I don't have to go to a FBS school to succeed. I can go to the FCS, and then they decide not to go to North Dakota State, which is a perennial national champion in football. Why wouldn't you go to North Dakota State? They win a national championship every year, but you're going to decide to come to an HBCU and become a part of something special, Kels. Something special, following the legs and the footsteps of Jerry Rice, of Walter Payton, of Michael Strahan, you know, of a Lim Barney. You know what I'm saying? Following the footsteps of legends of football. You know what I'm saying? The SWAC, the MEAC are where legends of football of old have come from. So it's time for these young men to come pick up this legacy, Kels. What do you think?
I think it's another direction, and it's what we'll use another mantra of another coach that we won't name. The culture shift. It's the hashtag, the culture shift. They've adopted that actual hashtag and the culture shift. And I'm glad that I can be a part of the culture shift and help and aid and move this into a different direction. And the thing is that even when we get, it's kind of like a catch-22 when you have athletes that go to your LSU, your Alabamas, your even what I call great, and I won't name names, I call great value schools, your knockoff, your lower level schools. even when they choose those schools, and after the fact, they come over to our HBC, come over to our HBCUs. I'm sorry, I do. I call them. I do. I call them great value. They're great value schools. They're like Walmart. They're not the Walmart brand. They're a great value brand. They're the knockoff. But anyhow, when they legit come in and they come from these, they transfer from these universities. Well, now the flack that they're getting is like, why did you consider these other schools first? Why didn't you consider an HBCU first? So it's like a catch-22. They're mad because they didn't come. And then when they come, they're mad because they didn't choose us first. Why didn't you consider? So that's where I'm at now in conversations with parents, with students. Please consider HBCUs when you're deciding to make a choice to go play sports, when you're talking about academics. Between academia and between athletics, please make the right decision for you, because at the end of the day, you have to remember it's going to be your choice where you spend 4 years. But you also have to consider the fact of what you're going into. You're going into an Alabama, and you know that you're probably going to be on the bench. You know you're not fixing to be starting. You got to wait till 3-4 other people get off the bench. You got to wait till somebody get hurt. So that's when you're sub in, sub out. So you have to consider, and there's nothing wrong with considering other schools. I'm not saying it's by any way, no way is there anything wrong with that, but always consider your options. It's the same thing I get. I get kids every day, parents every day. How can I get exposure? I'm not a coach. I am not a coach, but I do know that you need highlight film. I do know that you need a Twitter account, because this is where coaches are. And I want us to move from that where we consider HBCUs like they're not top tier. Like we feel like, oh, they're second to everybody else because, oh, if I can't play here, oh, I'll go play here. No, what you need to start doing is looking at your options before you start talking about I'm going to these schools. It sounds good on draft day, on signing day, when you making your decision day, when you making your decision and the coach is all at the house and talking to your mom and your dad or whatever, he's doing his business. It's good on that day. But then when you get to the field, when you get to game day, you just suit it up and you're not going into the game. And when you look up 2-3 years have passed by, the game that you have loved so much, now you're sitting on the bench. Now you're thinking, okay, I probably should have weighed my options and chose a Valley, chose a Southern, chose a Grambling, chose a Jackson State, chose a Alabama A&M, chose a Tennessee State, chose a North Carolina A&T.
Exactly.
That's what it all boils down to.
And being that you just said there's 2 athletes that I know from my home state. Both of them were 4-star recruits coming out of the state of Mississippi about 3 years ago. They would be going into their junior year, I think. Yes. They both went to the same college in Power 5. Both of them have played very sparingly, on the football field, and they're still there. Now, this school wins. They win national championships. They win SEC championships. They have some of the best facilities, the highest profile coach. But your goal was to go to school, get a degree, and play football. Expose yourself on the football field, not expose yourself as a practice dummy. And I've been waiting for these 2 young men to wake up and say, you know what? I'm ready to leave here and go play football at an HBCU somewhere. Don't transfer to another Power 5. Don't transfer to another Group of 5. And now, unless you're a grad transfer, because if you transfer down, you're immediately eligible. So these young men would have 2 years left to play if they decided to go to an HBCU. So I'm just watching that transfer portal, hoping that I see these 2 young men's name, because they're wasting away at this school where they could be making plays, scoring touchdowns, blocking for touchdowns, intercepting the ball, making tackles, but you're going to waste away sitting up there. And guess what this school is doing year in and year out? Recruiting 4- and 5-star players just like you. And since you only have a short amount of time left and you still haven't played, they're going to give those new guys who are coming in a chance before you, because, hey, they want to keep them there. You've already been there 2 years, 3 years, and haven't contributed much. So There is no favoritism. They're not to you. So come to an HBCU, play football, play basketball, play baseball, make some memories. Even though if you may not get drafted high, you still have a chance to make it to the NFL. Look at Danny Johnson. You know, I watched him play for the last couple of years at Southern and was wild. And he made the Redskins. You know what I'm saying? You can now, it's proven now that you can play on the field 3 years at an HBCU and get drafted. Look at North Carolina A&T's Darryl Johnson. You know what I'm saying? Yes, he was a 7th-round draft pick, but guess what? Tom Brady was a 6th-round draft pick. He's got 6 Super Bowl rings. So it's not where you get drafted. It's what happens after you get drafted. When you get to that NFL training camp and show off. Speaking of my good friend Kenny Brown, I'm hoping to have him on the show a few weeks whenever he gets time to tell his story of when he was, almost cut from the Bengals coming out of Jackson State. Told me this a couple of days ago. And, he went into practice one day and made 7 straight plays and wowed the coaches, and he ended up not getting cut. He was injured and he missed some days, and they were like, well, he's out on HBCU. We can let him go. But he came in on that day that we're getting ready to cut him, showed out, and earned his roster spot. Just like that, out of an HBCU. So, but next up, I want to talk about, we had the MLB baseball draft a couple of weeks ago. And, of course, we didn't get shut out in this draft, Kels. We normally have an HBCU prospect drafted every year in the Major League Baseball. But the thing is, Major League Baseball has a huge draft. They have the farm systems, all of the minor leagues, but that's where our HBCU process can go and hone their skills, make some money, and hopefully get called up to the big leagues. We had the following baseball players drafted out of HBCU schools. Anthony Maldonado, round 11, position right-hand pitcher out of Bethune-Cookman. He was drafted by the Miami Marlins. Corey Joyce, Corey Joyce, drafted in the 12th round, position infield. He was drafted out of North Carolina Central, drafted by the Detroit Tigers. Garrett Lawson, drafted in the 19th round, position left-hand picker out of Delaware State, drafted by the Los Angeles Angels. Correct me if I say this wrong, Kels.
No, that's right.
Javian Williams.
That's right.
Round 22. Position outfield. School. What school did he go to, Kels?
He is a Southern University grad. Woo!
Jaguar.
Straight out of Southern University.
Drafted by the San Francisco Giants. E.P. Reese, round 25, out of Winston-Salem State, position outfield. Drafted by the Houston Astros. Leon Hunter, round 35, right-hand pitcher. Drafted out of North Carolina A&T, Texas Rangers. Justin Washington, round 35, drafted by the Los Angeles Dodgers out of Savannah State, outfield. So congratulations to all of the HBCU prospects who are now on their way to try and earn a major league roster spot, a minor league roster spot, AAA, AA, rookie ball, whatever. Now you are a professional athlete. You have the distinction of being drafted by a professional team out of an HBCU. Guess what, Kels? Players can get drafted out of HBCUs. The dream can happen at an HBCU. And congratulations to these young men. It makes me happy to see these young men getting a chance to continue their dream, to play baseball, earn a living. You've earned your degree. Now it's time to go earn some money and continue playing the sport that you love and earning money doing so, Kels. What do you think about these young men getting drafted by Major League Baseball?
I think going back, I didn't realize that Anthony Maldonado was drafted in such a high round. I realized he went in round 11. So I think that's awesome. And for people that don't know, if you didn't watch Bethune-Cookman play this season, Bethune-Cookman did shut Ohio State down this year. So it's good to see that situation. Now, I did know about Corey Joyce, of course, from North Carolina. I did not realize that Maldonado had went in the 11th round, but this is good to have 7 of those guys actually go, and just to see, where exactly these guys might end up is a great, or how it might end up for them rather, is a great thing. So it is. It's super exciting. Anytime we get into any sport, we're always excited.
Right, I agree with you. And the next topic up, and I've been trying to find out everybody who's been accepted to that Bill Walsh Coaching Fellowship. We've been announcing them as we get them. But once I get the entire list, we're gonna discuss that and the opportunities that these coaches can bring back, the knowledge and skills and abilities that they're going to be learning while interning with these NFL teams, and then they can bring that knowledge back to their teams and train their players with it and potentially prepare them for a professional football career in the NFL, in the Canadian League, and in the XFL, which is going to be coming back next year. And that's just going to be another professional football league that HBCUs can have a chance to showcase their abilities at. Unfortunately, the Alliance of American Football had to shut their doors, and you had a lot of HBCU prospects on those teams. So now I'm pretty sure they're going to be trying to get on with NFL teams, go back to Canada, or also try for the XFL. But there is another coaching summit, and that is the NFL HBCU coaches taking stage at the NFL QB Coaching Summit. The NFL and the Black College Hall of Fame have teamed up with several HBCU coaches for this summit, and we have a lot of HBCU representation. I wish I could have gone to this. Remember when I sent you the message telling you to beam me up? Beam me to Atlanta? That's what I wanted you to do. If you had a Star Trek ship, beam me up to Atlanta so I could have gone to this. Here are the HBCU participants on this list. Broderick Fobbs, Grambling State University head coach. James Shaq Harris, Grambling legend, NFL star, and front office employee. Pep Hamilton, former Howard QB and XFL head coach. Jerry Mack, former NCCU head coach and current Rice offensive coordinator. Brennan Marion, former Howard offensive coordinator. Connell Maynor, Alabama A&M's head coach. Kendrick Nord, former Grambling Star QB and current QB coach. Alan Suber, former Bethune-Cookman QB and current assistant. John Tomlinson, NCCU QB coach. Pat White, Alcorn State QB coach. Ted White, Prairie View A&M coach and Howard legend. I think Ted White may have moved on from Prairie View by now. And then DJ Williams III, Doug Williams' son, former Grambling State quarterback. I mean, that's a lot of star power, Kills. I mean, it's just awesome to see all these individuals coming together, working with the NFL to just, bring exposure to black quarterbacks, because we know the black quarterback has had a journey in the NFL. Definitely the HBCU Correct. Black quarterback is still journeying to the NFL. We don't think we have one right now, but we all know the legacy that HBCU quarterbacks have left in the NFL. I'm still upset that my favorite college quarterback, to my knowledge, has not signed with an NFL team yet. So that kind of saddens me. And I'm talking about Amir Hall. You can hear the Correct. Tone in my voice getting a little sad because this man is an exciting football player, and he deserves a chance to showcase his abilities. Maybe he'll go to the XFL. Maybe he'll go to the Canadian Football League. Maybe he might be a part of this summit, name just not listed. I hope he gets a chance. But what do you think about this NFL Black Quarterback Coaching Summit, Kels, and what it means to the future of the black quarterback in college football, HBCU football, and also professional football.
Well, I think it's a very explosive pipeline. Very explosive. You look at the coaches and the personnel, and it's a great opportunity for them to show what they represent. And like you said, it's a lot of firepower in those names. And when you look at, who's going to be present, be it quarterback coaches, offensive assistants, coordinators, head coaches, whatever it is, there's a lot of firepower in this summit. And I think they're going to learn a lot of stuff. And one of my favorite coaches, that's really, Jerry Mack is one of those things. But one of the coaches I think that people should really start to pay attention to is Connell Maynard, Alabama A&M's head coach. People should really start to pay a little bit closer attention to Coach Maynard, because I think their season is going to be a little bit more defined this year. And he's really starting to condition and strengthen these boys and turn them into another. Because remember, he was just coming in on a new season. So what he's going to do, I think he's really going to get ready to turn this team around, which is fine. Just don't do that during homecoming with Southern. Don't try that during homecoming. But I honestly like Coach Maynard. I love Coach Maynard as a person. What he's doing with that Alabama A&M football team, Coach Mack. But I mean, you can look at it going, like you said, Coach Fobbs, Coach Harris. Just a lot of big names. Even going back to DJ Williams III. It's just a lot of firepower, a lot of names that are that are just literally that you would love to train under. So I think they're going to acquire a lot of knowledge and teach a lot of things. But I think this is a really good thing for these coaches.
I agree. I mean, anytime you can, network with the NFL and other great football minds and bring knowledge back, not only to your players, but also to your coaching staffs, because on those coaching staffs are the potential next head coaches at HBCU institutions. So it's going to allow those coaches to gain knowledge to gain networking and exposure, and also train the players with it. Because not only are the coaches going to be the next coaches, the players will be the next star athletes at those HBCUs and also professional athletes. But speaking of star athletes, the Hero Sports came out with their preseason FCS All-America team, or FCS team. And we didn't have a lot of HBCU players on this team, but we had a few that made it. We had two on the first team, one offensive lineman, Kevin Hall out of Alcorn. Chris Fadul, a punter out of FAMU. Second team, I hope I'm saying his name right, Jaquez Edard, wide receiver out of Howard. Now the third team, these two players, while I'm glad they made it, they possibly should have made it at their normal positions. But Deshaun Waller, running back out of Alcorn, was third team all-purpose. And Noah Johnson, also out of Alcorn, a quarterback, was third team athlete. Should have been a quarterback. We all know what those two did in the SWAC, last year. And they get a chance to come back and try to get Alcorn back to the promised land of the SWAC and of the Celebration Bowl again. I mean, wow. I would have liked to have seen more HBCU players on this list, just because I know we have the talent. I know we got to start scheduling some of these other FCS schools and beating them like North Carolina A&T did last year. And I think if we do that, I think that's going to help the exposure for our conferences, the SWAC, the MEAC, and as far as Division I. And in Division II, for the HBCU to start scheduling the powers in Division II and beating them, because I feel it can happen. I feel our HBCU institutions can recruit well and compete, and I would love to see some of our top tier teams play some of the other top tier teams in their divisions and be like, we're not afraid to play you. We're just as good as you. We're gonna punch you in the mouth like Jacksonville State got punched in the mouth. You know what I'm saying? So I just wish he would have been more players on this team because we know the talent that Grambling has. I think had his name is escaping me right now. Southern lost a wide receiver to Arkansas. I think he possibly could have been on this list had he stayed at Southern. I think when you have a talent like Jalen Jones, of course, he's not going to be preseason. But next year, if he wins the quarterback position at Jack State and has success, it's possible you could see him make this list. I know this is just one preseason FCS list by Hero Sports. Maybe we'll have more on other FCS lists, but Hero Sports, they cover, FCS sports pretty in depth, and I just feel like it should have been more HBCU players on these three teams. So, what do you think about the kind of lack of HBCU representation on these FCS lists?
The only thing I can say is that we, not to just kind of harp on it. Only thing I can say is that we hope as time goes on that we get more of our players on there because we start at one place and we just hope that it grows and extends from there. So hopefully, it's so funny when we talk about Deshaun Waller and Noah Johnson. Honestly, two of the most exciting running back quarterback duo to watch in the SWAC. They were very excited to watch. Not necessarily doing SWAC championship, but they were very exciting to watch. Seriously, during the season, really, yes, really great. And
you wanted them to have their worst game in that game, huh?
Oh my God, I'll get a chance to talk to Noah Johnson again during SWAC Media Day here in a couple of weeks in Birmingham, and I did get a chance to talk to him actually at the Black College Football Hall of Fame in Shrine. So, we'll get a chance because he's one of the people that's going to be there. So, get a chance to kind of meet these guys and see where their heads are. But we're running down time, and I kind of want to get through some of the other things that we did. First and foremost, over in the SWAC, gotta say congratulations to Jennifer Lynn. My girl did that. They're coming in 6 times. Let me say this is consistent. This is consistency for the 6th straight year. Alabama State has won the James Frank Commissioner's Cup. Oh, wow. The Hornets, I say this all the time, Alabama State is one of the most complete athletic programs. They also won the Sadie McGee Barbara Jacket Award for the 7th consecutive year and earned 10 SWAC championships this past year to the Gamer of Honor. So it's major. It's major over there at Alabama State. Of course, Prairie View and Alabama State want to share the C.D. Henry Award as both programs finished with 72 total points in men's final standings. But again, congratulations to Alabama State and Prairie View. But again, Jennifer Lynn is the athletic director, my girl over there, Wreck and Shop. So again, congratulations to Alabama State for putting it down. It really wasn't a surprise that they did that.
And Commissioner McClellan got a chance to give away his first Commissioner's Cup.
Absolutely. So, it really wasn't a surprise there.
No.
But it
I
was
wasn't surprised at all, Kels.
Oh, absolutely. We knew they would get the Commissioner's Cup. It really wasn't. She was like, if she wasn't, she was going to go out. We knew it was going to happen. So, again, congratulations to Alabama State. The Tennessee Titans, they have decided to retire Steve McNair's jersey.
Exactly.
Of course, we can only predict what would have happened. Steve McNair went way before his time.
Exactly.
Alcorn State Braves. He was gone way before his time. I mean, we can only predict where he would have been, Hall of Fame, everything with him. But I think a lot of people say it's long overdue. But they will retire his jersey, the number 9 jersey, when they host the Indianapolis Colts on September 15th. And McNair will be one of the 2 players that will be honored along with his teammate, Eddie George. So, they become the 7th and 8th players to have their number. Right. So, exactly. Very dominant backfield. Very dominant. So, they become the 8th and the 7th and 8th players to have numbers retired in the history of the Titans Oilers franchise. So, again, long overdue, but greatly deserved. September 15th, I'll definitely be looking out for that. Swag Media Day, it is. Like I just said, it's coming up. Ironically, it's on an odd day. This year it's on July 16th. It is on a Tuesday. It's in the middle of the week. It's always on a Friday, but when I reached out to Jason, he was like, it's on a Tuesday. Honestly, I thought Jason didn't know, but he did know it is on a Tuesday. So I will be in Birmingham on July 16th on Tuesday to make sure I get a chance to catch up with all 10 SWAC schools to kind of see what's going on, to see where these coaches' heads are, to see what they're going to do to kind of constrain, to kind of turn around where is there. Because my thing is always, what do you have in mind for the games you lost last year? How did you lose Celebration Bowl? What are you going to do to get back to that? What are you going to do Grambling to get back at Southern for losing by your class? You got all these, you got all these transfers coming in, all this culture shift. So you try to see where their heads are. So I can't, again, July 16th, Swag Media Day will be at the Westin Birmingham. All 10 SWAC coaches, again, will be there. I will be in the building. They said they will take care of me. So when they say I'm going to take care of you, guess what Keisha's going to do? Keisha's going to get on the road and see what they're going to do. But I'm excited because it's been a couple of years since I've actually been able to attend a SWAC Media Day. My first Media Day actually was a SWAC Media Day in Birmingham. The last SWAC Media Day I went to actually was 3 years ago, and that was right after my father passed. So that was my first Media Day, and I've been doing SEAC Media Day ever since. So right. I'm excited to actually get back to Birmingham to see. But go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, since you mentioned your father, I mean, I saw you posted. We know about the scholarship coming up, and let's give our corporate sponsors some airtime. Talk about those ladies and how they helped this come to fruition.
Well, we had 3 corporate sponsors. Of course, 2 of them were out of Southern University, and then one is a friend here from Atlanta that actually she did a sponsorship, and I didn't even see that one coming when she did it. But I was truly moved beyond words when that happened. One's name is Tanya, one is Alicia, and then the other one is a twin that's a dentist. Her name is Saw-Sack. So, and she's in Texas. So those are 3 corporate sponsors. This is probably premature, but I'm going to do it anyway. Just got another sponsorship that I got to go pick up a check tomorrow. Oh. So it's just happening. It's happening. It's crazy. But we are blessed beyond words right now to be able to even do scholarships. And it's like the wrapping up and trying to get it all together this week and wrapping my head around it like, okay, this is what we're going to do. But we'll definitely know by the end of the week who those people are. And then we'll look at tomorrow what that check is to see.
Awesome.
So it is.
Who knows? In a couple of years, maybe my daughter can get a scholarship from Black College Experience. Ooh, that would be nice.
Correct. Huh? Right.
So, but and also I will be attending the Doug Williams Youth Football Camp, which will be Saturday, July 6, 2019. Thanks to my awesome co-host for getting me in the door. It will be at Doug Williams Field, the Louisiana Leadership Institute, at 5763 Hooper Road. We'll be split into 2 sessions. 1st through 6th grade, 7:30 to 9:30, and session 2, 7th through 12th grade, 9:30 to 11 a.m. A special guest will be DJ Williams, QB coach, New Orleans Saints, Danny Johnson, defensive back, Washington Redskins, Landon Collins, safety, Washington Redskins, Darius Geis, running back, Washington Redskins, and Keno Anyo Jr., Fast 360 Elite. This is a free camp for the first 500 kids that register. Cap will max out, of course, at 500 kids. So if you're looking to register, if they have open spots, you can register today at creamsports.com. Now, Kels, I want to thank you for working so fast to kind of get me in so I could be a part of this camp. And, just give some exposure to the young men who are attending the camp and just get a chance to, have one of my first events with a football camp representing Black College Experience. I just want to thank you for that.
Oh, no problem. Absolutely no problem. When we were talking about it, the conversation really was, I don't think we really went into detail about this, and we're at the end. But the thing is that we talked about, she and I had, when I say she, Ashley, of course, is Doug Williams' daughter. So we had been talking back and forth. And the thing is that she was just trying to make sure everything was going to be on board. Mm-hmm. And she had already told me that Danny was going to be one of the people, and she was working to get other people, and they were trying to make sure they were getting everything. And so she's going to try to make it an annual thing. But she was like, I was like, okay, yeah, I'm going to come to Baton Rouge. And it just so happened that my niece will be turning 16 this year. And 16 is a major part in a child's life. And I was like, I cannot miss my niece's 16th birthday. I just can't do it. So I was like, well, okay. So when you said, hey, I'm going to this camp, boom, okay, fine, that works perfectly. You can go and be in the place. When I'm here, you're there. So, and then the thing is like, I told her, I was like, just send me the information. We'll still talk about it. We'll still post it. We'll still advertise it, and we'll still get the word out. So, that's what she's talking about, the T-shirt. So it is. It's good to have that good inside connection. And the thing is what she told me. She was like, I'll make sure you get all the interviews that you need. So that means that carries over to you. Whatever interviews you need, you'll be able to get those interviews. So my good interviews got to rub over to you. So you get the interviews that you need on that day.
That would be great. It would be great for me to experience that, and for anyone who doesn't know me, I do have roots in coaching youth football, and it'll be fun for me to get back out there and just watch the kids go through drills. Fortunately for them, I won't have a whistle. I'm just gonna be there.
Oh, Lord, no.
I'm just gonna be there, spectating, watching, and and just getting. It's gonna be a work event for me. Getting interviews with the HBCU players there, networking, and just promoting the Black College Experience brand. Because I got that pretty blue shirt with the Black College Experience logo. All I need to do is get me a nice straw hat, to block out the sun.
Correct.
With the Black College Experience logo on it. So, Kels, what else you want to talk about before we get out of here?
Yeah, actually, the last thing I want to do is just kind of just bring it to the forefront that we are going to be going into the SEAC Media Day as well. That's coming up here at the College Football Hall of Fame. I think one of the biggest games that's going to come out of the SEAC is going to be this inaugural game with Alabama A&M and Morehouse. For people that don't know, that's going to be in Canton, Ohio.
Wow.
They're calling that the College Football Hall of Fame game. So it is. It's going to be a Black classic, first game of the season. If y'all do happen to see me dressed as Bobby the mascot or the Alabama A&M Bulldogs, that means that I snuck on the flight to get to Ohio because I wasn't supposed to be there. So if y'all see me dressed up or rolling the sideline,
the mascot, take his uniform.
That means I snuck out of Atlanta to get to Ohio. That means I went down there all willy-nilly because I absolutely hate mascots. That means I went down there off of somebody else's wheel.
Yes, indeed. Well, we want to thank you guys for listening to another episode of Black College Experience. We are here to give you all the HBCU sports news that we can within the time limits of our show. And if we didn't cover something you want us to talk about, please make sure you can catch us on Twitter at Black College EXP. Message us on Facebook, the Black College Experience. And you can also hit me up. I am HBCU Sports Dad on Twitter. Kels, what's your name on Twitter?
I am Heels to Turf on Twitter. We're also Black College EXP. Yes. And let me let the people know, we cannot get out of here without telling y'all that we made another major move. Not only are we on Spreaker right now, but we're also on Spotify.
Exactly. So now you can listen to us on Spreaker and also on Spotify, as well as our YouTube channel. So make sure you check us out. Leave comments and feedback. We want to know what people who listen say, and we can only get better as a show if our HBCU family lets us know what they want to hear. I'm gonna try to run more social media posts to get information and feedback from our listeners, and we'll discuss what you say on the show. And hey, we take calls. Our phone number is out there, so if you want to call in and just shoot the sports talk with us, feel free to do so.
Absolutely.
That's why we're here, for you to voice your opinions on the state of HBCU sports. You upset about that referee call? Call in, voice your opinion. You know what I'm saying? That's why we're here. This is your show, HBCU football and sports fans. We're here for you. On that note, that's all I got, Kel.
All right, and on that note, we'll see y'all next week.
Peace out.
Shutterstock Music.